Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Still speaking about that wonderful life that we the people are about to engage. The other day I went to Sam's Club. Many of you are familiar with Sam's Club, Walmart, Home Depot. You're familiar with stores like this. Oftentimes you walk through them and you see all of the wonderful products that are there, and your imagination just runs wild. And you wish that some of those things there that you could use, you definitely could use, but you wish you could own them, have access to them. And some things you can, some things you can't. But as I walked through Sam's Club, I was able to look at deck furniture, patio furniture, grills, getting prepared for the spring if it ever gets here, or the summer, relaxation and having fun. And as I did this, I began to think about the people. How so many people in this world today cannot access these things. I know people who can access them, who've used them, and sometimes they want to get rid of them, and they give them to the Goodwill or set them on the corner of the street. And people sneak by at night and try to pick them up and take them home so they can utilize them. That's a sad statement about the system of our humanity. And as I watched and observed these many products, I began to think about how beautiful it would be if every household that desired to have anything that they don't have really had access to it and had the best that there is out there on the market. And when things broke down or they needed repairs, they didn't have to be a jack of all trades themselves, but they could call in the professionals, professional people to come in and repair stuff who were not on the job to make money or to get bills paid, but they were on the job because this is their choice career and they loved doing it. That when they made certain things, they made them to last seemingly forever. And they made repairs to make things last still forever when they've fallen apart. It just amazed me of how wonderful this could be for all of us. And I began to think about people who spend their whole lives working. They try to maintain a certain standard, and then they get old, and they are not able to work and make money as before. Many of them don't even have a retirement fund except maybe Social Security. And so they can't maintain their houses and their life the way they had in the past. You pass by their houses, you can see maybe where they had a wonderful, beautiful fence at one time. Now the gates might be hanging. Or if they had a porch, and as they say in the country, or in the South, should I say, a gary, some of the screen doors are hanging. And as I thought about that, I'm thinking about how these people must feel, how their lives are being depleted and they're suffering, and it brought much pain to me. I'm speaking about your moms, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, some of you, whose life just seems to be going down the drain. And I thought about how the Heavenly Father wants that life to be lifted up again. And how this message that I'm seeing there today and that I'm sharing with you right now should be inspirational to us to think about our future. When we perhaps get old, we want our lives to be as beautiful as it is now, or as beautiful as it was when we were young. And in thinking about our lives, we might think about our parents' lives, and we might be engaging to make things better for them, our grandparents, to go back and make sure that the gates are repaired and that the screen doors are fixed and that the yards and houses that's falling apart shall be renovated to the extent that they are lovely again, because we ourselves have changed. Oh, that was a beautiful thought to me, ladies and gentlemen. I thought about people who have been so brought down in their life struggle until many of them find escape they looked for drugs. Initially, the drug just was an exciting thing to give them a little bit of uplift at that moment. But they found themselves resorting to it for an everyday situation because life seemed to be so depressing. And I know there are many of those who say if they put the drugs down, if they get a job that they don't like but a job that seems to be bondage to them but a job, and they can have some money, they can do some things. You know, many people think this way because they have not been trained to think in a loving way. They have not been educated about the gift of love and the gift of God. They've been trained to think about the system and how the system programs you with a no compassion. And so you usually start thinking about other people with no compassion. But if you think about them with compassion as they sit in these rooms smoking weed or smoking crack or doing heroin or something like this, just think for a moment how wonderful their lives would be if they did not have to do these things or if they did not engage in these things. But then let's think about a life that was so interesting to them, a life that was so joyous to them till sitting around getting high like that would be the furthest thing from their mind. And they could live just like they've always dreamed of living. When they were little kids, they didn't smoke dope. They never thought of smoking dope. They just wanted to grow up and enjoy the world. And the Lord wants that to happen. And I'm telling you about it so that you can be inspired to feel the love of God in you for all people. And that these things can change. And at the same time, while thinking about those, I'm thinking about people whose lives have been so robbed. People whose lives have pitched them in situations where they can't even have their own dwelling. They have to share it with others, and it really, they don't have the teaching, they don't have the guidance to make them want to believe that things can be better. So their surroundings are dirty, ghettoish. You know what that means. Some people call it living across the track. And a lot of people have been so brought down, so depressed, and so subjected to the whims of others until their lives are just like that. Their kids walk around with nappy hair or uncombed hair, snotty noses, dresses and pants hanging all down. Just little nasty kids, you know what I'm talking about. And we have looked at them, we've been trained to look at them and call them nobody. They're nothing. They're less than animals because many people will treat their animals a great deal better than they even hope that these people will be treated. But that's not the love of God. That's not love at all. And so what if we are going to change our perception about things, and these kids, even these who have suffered like this, will be changed. Changed because we changed. And in our changing, we were receptive to their situations and cared about it and did what was necessary to make it a beautiful thing as opposed to what it used to be. Now, I know many of you might think that I'm dreaming, and yes, I am dreaming, but I'm not dreaming for dreaming's sake. I'm dreaming because there's a change that's going to take place, and you and I are going to be instrumental in that change. Now, I know some of you might think that if the world changed like this, it would cause all kinds of problems. Yes, it will, because we have been stupid, ignorant. But now we're going to change. We're going to, as we've mentioned, make sure that people have access to education. And I'm talking about real education that allows them to be able to think, not to be programmed, but to think and make decisions, logical decisions, good decisions about themselves and about other people. We're going to make sure that that education is that way because those who educate our children or whomever we might be going back to school are going to be instructors and teachers and professionals who love what they do. They're not in it for the money. In fact, money is not in it at all. But they just love to teach, love to instruct, love to be there and excite the minds of the students so they can just, like a sponge this time, suck all of that good knowledge in and grow and develop to be something fantastic for our society. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you can do. Access this education. And as you access this education, become better at whatever your dream is. And as you engage yourself, it benefits everybody. And many of you who work today for reasons that we all understand, you got to make the bills, we got to make that paycheck. Many of you don't even want to work. You want to stay at home and raise your children. And by joy, that's what God wants you to do. Many of you, if you love your children, if you got children, and you believe in them, that those early years, they grow up with you so they can see the things that you do. They can listen to what you have to say and observe you and grow to become something productive and loving and kind just like you have been. And you not only just raising your children for children's sake, but to do things like keep your house beautiful, or yourselves beautiful, or anything that you find to engage yourself in, to do it in such a fantastic kind of way that it should be loved and appreciated by all that visualize it. We know that there are people who want to stay at home with their kids, but they have to send their kids to school, preschool, kindergarten, and some nursery to raise your kids because you got to go to work. No, it's time for that to stop. It is time for that to stop, ladies and gentlemen. And by the power of love, we're going to do everything we possibly can to make sure that that stuff is turned around. And I know that many of you have thought or said that if the world changed this way, that people wouldn't know what to do. They'll go crazy. They'll come out and try to get everything they possibly can and don't have anywhere to put it. They'll just be grabbing and grabbing. Like when a riot takes place, you go into a store and you just take anything you can. Well, these people got motivation for doing that. And when the doors open so that they can access these things in the beginning, they probably will, no doubt, go in and try to get their hands on everything they possibly can. Because in their psychic, based upon the way we've been trained, these things are not accessible to them, and they better grab them as soon as they possibly can. It's like going to the buffet when you haven't gone before. All of a sudden you can eat all you want to eat, but you don't know it. So you go there and you just run your place over with all kinds of stuff. Stuff that you can only taste and have no desire for later because your belly is full. But once you understand that this food is there for you, buffet, you can go back and get what you want. You can get a little of this, a little of that, or maybe just some of some things. And knowing that it's there for you. You don't go crowd yourself up like that anymore. Well, this is something that will happen. But as people learn from the buffet table that the food is always there, when they learn that the things that they use for their livelihood, the house products, the cars, the transportation facilities and access to them, when they learn that these things are always there for them, they won't be bringing that stuff home because they got to be responsible for taking care of it. And it's better to have it somewhere else where people are taking care of it and looking after it, who love doing just that. That's their career objectives. And you can go and access it when you desire, want it, or need it. This is a fantastic way of life, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to embrace it. I want you to dream with me and see with me. And let us together in our individual locations then come together and make our plans to move in this particular direction. Now, I want you to understand and not be naive, because I'm not. There have been many wars fought. And these wars basically have been fought because people wanted to maintain control over others. They wanted what others had. They have learned that to be the boss means that you got to have access. And in the past, it's been money. And so if I speak to you about now changing the attitude from going after stuff for money's sake, but going after it for service sake, because this is a new way of doing things, this is a new system, initially the people who run things today won't see it like that. They'll see it as somebody invading them, and they will be wanting to fight a war. And as I thought about this and the wars that have been fought in the past, the only way we can defeat this particular type of war because they have the money. And we are just making a system thought that's going to come in and change things around. They can then pay people to fight for them, to take up a gun and go kill all of us who are talking about something different. But they can't be successful in that endeavor if we the people have made up our minds that we're not going to go back that way. That way is over. And we become instruments of love not only for ourselves, but even for those who feel threatened by this new system. When they recognize that they are no threats to us and we are no threats to them, then they'll put down their guns. Just like the people at the buffet table will stop going getting everything they possibly can. These same guys who have started wars, who have killed, and ladies and gentlemen, I want you to realize that in our system today, we have so many secret societies. And these secret societies, they call them that because they got secret ideas, secret plans that they are about. And we, the public, not being of those societies, don't actually know what they're doing. But the truth of the matter is that they actually work against we, the people. That's why they are doing it in secret. They are lying and deceiving us. And our world is representative of that, without a doubt. And so when we have these secret societies, we understand that they will go to extremes to do things. Now we are talking about a new world order. Some people want to say call them theorists and not believe what is actually going on. They call them conspiracy theorists. That's to put a little stamp on, a little negative. They don't know, they're talking junk and don't pay any attention to what they're saying. But there are theories out there that says that these secret societies actually have control of the weather. They have tunnels and cities built under the earth. They got tunnels that you can go from one state to another underwater. All kinds of things are going on. They got prisons that Homeland Security has built for people who, when the powers that be decide to really take over, when we have subjected ourselves and submitted ourselves to their control, and they have a little less need for us because they are making biotics and robots and things to do their biddings, they will basically take a lot of human beings off the face of the earth. Actually kill them. And we have to recognize that this is nothing that we should be playing games with, because the history teaches us that mankind has been killing each other like stepping on flies or stepping on ants and haven't really thought anything about it. In Cambodia, just think about the millions that have given their lives just because somebody else wanted to be boss. Think about those who in Germany and in Russia and in other parts of the world. But we don't have to just go outside our borders. Just think about the millions and millions of slaves that have been slaughtered here in this country over time for the benefit of another people. All of these things are true. They do fear that which they don't know. And this, what I'm talking about today to you, is something that they will fear. But it is the power of God that moves this. And I mean, when I'm thinking about it, I hate to think that people might lose their lives in the beginning because of the ignorance. We have the Civil War fought for the interest of money, maintaining an economic situation that they've accepted and they don't want to get rid of it. You think about the bosses who run companies, or the CEOs who are making millions and millions of dollars and getting bonuses of millions and millions of dollars, and they maintain these things by allowing people to buy shares and stock so they can get a little kickback to add to their whatever salaries they get from their jobs. These people will feel threatened about this new change. I was trying to be on television one day to talk about these issues, and the manager thought that I was talking about redistribution of wealth. And that alone was a turn off, and I could not get access to that program. But this is not redistribution of wealth. This is the distribution of wealth. You have people who say, well, we can't utilize this, all of this, because it'll deplete, it'll run out. This is man's thinking, it'll run out. Look, this earth was made by God. The substances of this earth that are used by people is by God. And when something runs out, man might get puzzled and know not what to do, but before it runs out, God has already made another plan for something else. He's already instilled the knowledge and desire in someone else to be able to extract from that and to give knowledge, so that now we are not where we used to be, but we're going further on up. I need you to believe in God, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to believe in yourselves. I need you to want to do the good things of life. This is the new dream. This is your life, guided by you, the people, not by those who will exploit you, but with a new flowing of love. I was thinking just the other day, well, I wasn't thinking, I heard on the radio that the price for gasoline is going up. Now, how and why would that happen? It's because those who are in control wants more money. So what they do is they decrease the production, so it won't be that much energy, gasoline, fuel for you, and so the prices goes up. Now, those who got money, they don't feel it. They just pay it. But those of you who got a little money, or those of you who got no money, I mean, that's pain, but they don't care because they make the money off the top from those who got the money. So we want to stop that, ladies and gentlemen. I call that ignorant. Some people call it the devil. Some people call it the pit of hell. But I know one thing, it doesn't work for all of us. And anything that does not work for all of us got to go. And I say that because the God who made the earth, the God who made all the things of the earth, the God who made us, made it in such a way that all of us could have our needs met, not only our needs, we could have our wants met, not only our wants, but we could have our desires met. That is a gift from our Heavenly Father to all of us children, regardless of our color of the hair, regardless of the color of our eyes, regardless of the shade of our skin, regardless of male or female or old or young or American or anything else. That loving Father has prepared for us all of the wonderful things that I mentioned to you thus far, and things that I can't even imagine just yet. So when you go to those polls in November here in Minnesota, write Eddie Marcus in as the replacement candidate for Al Franken. Now, I know the Democrats got someone already there, and that's a good person. I don't know her name right now, but she's a good person. She's a wonderful person. But we're not talking about the old system. We're talking about a new system. The old system has failed us. Let me say it again. The old system has failed us. Look, they say in Syria, just the other day, some gas was dropped on some people, and the cameras show the people suffering and how they're trying to recover from that. And what are the moves that are being considered about this? It's to go and attack and do a greater punishment upon those who did this than what they did. So if they did something that caused pain and suffering to so many people, what great idea is it for us to go and cause more pain on them? See, this is what I'm talking about. That doesn't make any darn sense. You say, well, we got to do something. Well, what do? This is the thing to do, to show them the benefit of not doing stuff like that. Let us set up our system and make our system so wonderful till people don't have to dream about heaven. They can just look across the borders and look at America and see heavenliness right there and desire it. And we are not trying to say, no, this is ours. We are the great nation. We are the seed whereby the world can look at and say, give me that seed. I want to plant it right here. And they just open up their arms, and we who have it are just releasing all of this wonderful seeds everywhere, all across the globe. So if there are some people down in the earth, living down in the earth, who are afraid of us because we've been so weird, they can come up. And now we are not afraid of them. Why? Because we are the light of the earth. We are the light of the world. Now, that's fantastic. I'm asking you to write my name in as that replacement candidate. And I say write my name in because I don't have Democratic support. I don't have Republican support. I don't have any money, and I don't have anybody putting money behind me. Not only that, I don't want any money put behind me. I'm talking about forgetting money, taking away the value of money, and start doing things because it's right and because you accept righteousness. And you write my name in. And to do that means that you understand exactly what I'm talking about. You are in agreement with it and you support it. And send me to Washington so I can take the same message that I'm giving to you to the Congress, to the legislators there, to the House of Representatives, to the senators, and whomever is sitting there on that administrative thing. And not only there, ladies and gentlemen, take that message to the constituents all across this nation. I want them to know that God is love. God is greater love than this stuff they've been hearing about on church every Sunday. They can't begin to tell you about the greatness of God. They can't begin to tell you about the love of God. And I want that message to be out there so in 2020, the whole nation can go to the polls and write in Eddie Marcus as the next president of the United States so that we can have the Spirit of God at the top, as what we say, the man on his throne, sitting up there, opening up all the doors that are necessary for you, my friends, to let the love of God that is in you flow out. And we can change this nation to make it as beautiful as I just got through describing it. And by so doing that, change the world where people won't be talking about killing millions and billions of you, but embracing you, loving one another. I'm asking you to dream and turn that dream into a reality. Is that asking too much? I think not. God is bigger than all of that. This is just the beginning point. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I did a piece called The Role of Jesus, played by Eddie Marcus. I don't know how that came out. I was talking about when Jesus come, or if Jesus were here, this is what Jesus would be doing. And so since Jesus isn't here, somebody got to do it. And I can't think of anybody else that can talk about the love of God any better than I can. So I'll just take that role playing the part of Jesus, but recognizing that I have no power without you. Thank you.